I'm going to focus in on Hurricane Delta from 2020. It was such a popular hurricane season in terms of the number of storms that they actually had to dip into the Greek alphabet because they went through so many of the names. Over here on the left hand side, you'll see the blue line is showing maximum sustained winds. So essentially, as you see this particular graph, it goes up and then back down. And then the black line essentially is the inverse of that, or the opposite. As the one goes up, the other one goes down, and you can see air pressure is being shown over here. And this is over here on the right hand side is the labeling there. So we see the pressure readings dipping below that magic 1000 millibar reading. Over here on the right, if I go ahead and I show that, it shows the particular storm. It was labeled a TD, which means it's a tropical depression. So this was named Tropical Depression number 26 at the time. So then it had 30 knots of wind speed and was approaching that magic 1000 millibar number. And then we get a lower pressure as this continues to move, as it starts to move over the warm waters of the Caribbean Sea, and it becomes a tropical storm. What happened there was the knots increased to 55 knots, and so the storm is essentially intensifying as the low pressure center is getting lower and lower and lower in terms of the surface air pressure readings. Now it's below that 1000 millibar number. In the case of this particular hurricane and tropical depression slash tropical storm, so once again, tropical storm, this is when it was named Tropical Storm Delta. But this is a pretty fast transition from a tropical depression to a hurricane. Normally it's a little bit more spread out as far as over time and area, but to have this blue to green to orange so quickly, not really that normal. Typically we see longer transitions. As this hurricane was intensifying, you can see its wind speed went up, and at the same time the low pressure stayed low. I'll come back and I'll explain more what's happening here as far as the changes, what happened here as far as this hiccup or this difference in the pattern. But we can see on essentially the hurricane as it starts to make landfall, kind of a reverse of that naming process. And so now it's back to being a tropical storm. So quickly died out that we don't even see it named here as a tropical depression or disturbance.